How long have you been into hacking?
Let's see, how old
Ethical
am I?
hacking. Ethical hacking.
Actually, I've always been an ethical hacker, actually, because it's always been my morality. I was brought up with that morality. But a hacker to me is just someone who's curious on how things work. They take things apart and try to figure out different ways of solving problems. It's not all malicious.
Yeah.
In fact, it's rarely malicious. One of my favorite sites is Lifehacker. Always getting great ideas from there. So I see hacking in everything I do. How can I improve on who I am and what I do?
So how did you started your career then?
In computer science, actually. So I have a computer science undergraduate from Michigan State. Go Spartans. Sorry, add that in. And then I got a master's degree in management information systems. But from that, I was also in the Air Force. I was an intelligence officer. So by being an intelligence officer tied with computers led me to my career in cybersecurity. But being more than just computer security, it's about how do we make sure we're protecting ourselves and others, online, offline, wherever, which then also led to life skills. Because in order to make sure you're adequately protecting yourself, you need to look at it from multiple perspectives. There's not just one way to do it. You need to understand risks. And what are risks all around us? We live with risks, and we have to live with risks. So how do you understand those and minimize and accept the others?
Well, I know from just starting this web series, there's always advertisements and call to actions on, hey, this may be not secure. And,
right.
As somebody who isn't really well versed in that world, how scary is it?
It's very scary, but we can't live in fear. Just like whether we're in the physical world where there are shootings all over the world. You can't live in fear and refuse to leave your home. Same thing online. Online is like any other big city. It just happens to be all virtual. There's some awesome places with great things to see and do and learn. And then there's some scary places you have to stay away from. So it's understanding that balance, recognizing when you're in that dangerous area of the city, knowing what to do, how to recognize the danger sides, taking some proactive steps, and then knowing how to respond when something bad happens, whether it's an attachment in an email, whether you know whether to click on it or not, what steps can you take. A lot of it is just very basic. We've been talking about the same thing in cybersecurity for about the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. Seriously, we call it Security Groundhog Day, like the movie Groundhog Day, where we're reliving the same day over and over because a lot of us in cybersecurity have been saying the same things. Passwords suck, so avoid passwords. Make sure you're up to date on patches. Knowing who to trust, and when you get that suspicious email, double checking it. A little bit of suspicion goes a long way. So this way you're not having to live in fear.
A lot of small entrepreneurs and small business, you need to have that online presence. And so besides those quick tips, what would be some quick tips that you would give a new business owner on when it comes to dealing online?
If you don't have an answer, find who you can to ask. We can't know everything about what we do. So getting a partner who is somewhat versed in cybersecurity, maybe trading some services. Like, for example, I'll provide video services for you if you help me with my cybersecurity.
We'll talk.
Yeah, exactly. Could be a way to create synergy there. It could be a project for a young student to be able to help a small business in return for resume fodder. Will you be a mentor for me? Can I use you as a reference on my resume for a younger person looking to get into a career field? It's a great way to gain value from both sides. Making sure whoever you're working with in cybersecurity, though, is well versed. There's a lot of charlatans out there who say they know stuff about cybersecurity because they once read a book on it.
Yeah.
But how well versed are they really? And you have to be careful because the word hacker is thrown out a lot.
Okay.
And I'll mention hacking as being curious. There is something, I have a certification called Certified Ethical Hacker, which means I know how to break computer systems so we know how to secure them and fix them appropriately. But I've also talked to high school students who call themselves hackers, which is just really dangerous because high school students shouldn't be hacking in that way. They can just get in a whole lot of trouble if they don't know what they're doing.
I see a lot of small businesses, and I won't name a specific company, but portable card readers.
Right.
What is that technology? Is that something that they've gotten a lot better with, or should you still have some worries?
You should definitely still have some worries. The danger with portable card readers is not so much on the merchant as anyone can buy one and use it to steal another person's identity. If you are taking credit cards online, you have to be what's known as Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard compliant. It's called PCI DSS, and it's run by MasterCard, Visa, American Express, where it's one standard that you need to comply with if you take credit cards or debit cards.
Entrepreneurs are really wrapped up in the dream. Oh, they're starting their own business.
Right.
So they're not thinking about all of the security risks. So what are some other things you see people may skip?
Other ideas in terms of phishing email. A phishing email is one that looks like it's coming from a well-known source, like your bank. If you get an email from the FBI or the IRS, you can just safely delete it. The FBI or the IRS won't send you an email saying you're in trouble. It'll be regular postal mail, or if it's the FBI, they will actually show up in a very nice suit, acting extremely professionally to talk with you. So it's being aware. There's something known as spear phishing, where if a bad guy wants to go after a particular, even a small company, because small companies are often, they think, oh, I'm too small of a target. No one would ever hack me. It's being complacent is an enemy of security. So even small companies will be attacked, because if nothing else, I'll use your company to attack a bigger company, and then your company will be the one blamed, not me. Always been happening in cybersecurity.
I know around the holidays I see a lot of gift certificates, or hey, you've won a $50 gift certificate from something that kind of looks like said merchant.
One of the big tips I have for small businesses is to partner with a Better Business Bureau. They already have a lot of free information, great resource around the country for both businesses and the public. So for both sides, so they can help the business make sure that you're not taken in by a scam, and to make sure you're not propagating a scam like that.